The village of Buguri is just a few kilometers away from the Rwandan capital, Kigali. It was in this village 24 years ago that Silas Bihizi joined other ethnic Hutus in killing his Tutsi neighbors. Among those murdered was Valens Rukiriza's brother, the man's wife, and their 3 children. Bihizi was arrested in early 1995 for actions he has come to abhor and spent 13 years in prison. He was released to face a community-based court that included victims' relatives and friends set up to speed prosecutions in the genocide. During the trial, he confessed, asked for forgiveness, and was sentenced to 13 years, which was the time already served.
Among those who participated, I was among them. That resulted in being accused of killing Rukiriza Valens' family, that included his sister-in-law, children, and his elder brother.
After his release, he returned to his wife, their 7 children, and his farm work. But he worried about meeting the relatives of his victims, something inevitable in a small village.
After my release, I decided that confessing to a crime during trial wasn't enough. Then I decided to go to the home of those that had endured a lot because of my crimes and ask for their forgiveness. I apologized because I wanted to free my soul.
Rukiriza, whose brother Bihizi had killed, was the key witness against Bihizi. During the trial, Rukiriza argued Bihizi should be sentenced to life in prison. Forgiving someone who ripped his family apart was difficult, but Rukiriza decided to pardon him and move forward.
We accepted his apology as a family, but of course that wasn't easy. It required a lot of strength. At first I hesitated, and my neighbors can attest to that. I felt I could not do it, but thanks to God, I had to accept the apology. Our government encourages us to promote unity and reconciliation and to coexist peacefully.
A big step came in 2009, 2 years after Bihizi's release. His son, Silas approached him with plans to wed Hyacinthe Murayire, Rukiriza's daughter.
When he told me that, it felt like he had opened an old wound. Well, I had asked for forgiveness for the crimes I committed, but I couldn't imagine having to face Rukiriza again to tell him that my son wanted to marry their daughter.
Murayire's father initially resisted too, but the young couple were deeply in love.
My fiancé used to tell his friends that if I don't marry that girl, I would commit suicide. He repeated those same threats to my family when we visited them. Then my father asked why he should go through that. It is then that I made a decision. Instead of losing him, I would rather stay away from my family if they opposed our marriage.
Rukiriza said he relented and blessed his daughter's marriage because he wanted to support reconciliation.
Hating reconciliation is adding a heavy burden on yourself. It leads to a lot of stress. If I had not been courageous enough to accept and forgive, I would be a useless person by now. I wouldn't be the man I am now. I would be a drunkard here. I had that courage, and God helped me through that process.
Today, both Rukiriza's and Bihizi's bloodlines commingle in 3 young, beloved grandchildren. Edward Rwema, VOA News, Buguri in southern Rwanda.